Welcome, Manohar. See you after a long time. Now, what I'm going to do over here, today is the 5th day. And then we have a corona disease in new cases in 3 digits. So if you see like from January to mid of June, we have around like on an average mean cases of 1,000. So let's put in the 6 month, we have 1,000 cases. And now last 5 days, we have 500 plus cases alone, or over 600 cases in last 5 days. So that's the shift in Hong Kong. Everyone has to understand. We were telling people from day one to become like a socially responsible citizen. Many people understood it. Many people ignore it. Many people given a priority to their like mental health. Many people given priority to their daily need. And as a result, we are sitting over here dealing with pandemic again. What people need to understand here, we are dealing with something which cannot see. We cannot see from our eyes. Okay, so that's the thing. In order to establish the importance of this, I would like to give a little bit like the snapshot of the history and the connectivity with the history and today's scenario. This is very important. People are only looking today's scenario based on what they are watching in a news media. If the media is saying everything is comfortable, people getting comfortable, relax. Last 3-4 months, what happened, like a lot of news came, a lot of therapies, a lot of vaccines, a lot of medication. So we heard all, right? So it's a kind of a roller coaster of a lot of positive news and a lot of rumors and so many things, but nothing came as a solution. The reality check is today in front of us, there is no solution. But what is the other reality? That past 3 months or 4 months, so many people in the world through media have claimed that they have found the solution, whether in terms of therapies, in terms of medication, and in terms of vaccination, right? But the reality is the cases are keep growing every day, and it's not stopping anywhere. So what is the things which people are missing? So today I'm going to focus what are the things people are missing, people not understanding it, and then what are the things which are putting people at a high risk, and then how to deal with this. And one of the main point is immunity, understanding the immunity. So I want to take you back 1918 to 1990, Spanish flu. So usually we talk about the Spanish flu. Let's go a little bit detail into it. Is a Spanish flu by name, but the virus here is H1N1. Okay, so that's the first thing. H1N1 is a Spanish flu. Now, 30 years later, after 1918, we had an Asian flu, which was N2N2, H2N2. So Spanish flu H1N1, Asian flu H2N2, and 1958. And 10 years later, we had Hong Kong flu, which is H3N3. So this is the same variation of influenza virus. So you can see like within 30 to 40 years time period, a big pandemic returned again and became pandemic 2-3 times within a 40 years time span. So now you see one time frame from 1918 to 1968. It's a 40 years of time period. Within this 40 years of time period, this influenza virus, the H1N1 or HN virus, created pandemic 3 times. Now, this particular virus, H1N1, the variation of H1N1 again came in 2009 or 2006, started 2007-8, known as a bird flu or avian flu. This is the same strain, H1N1. Is a variation of the same flu. Like what people are missing, I'm trying to make people understand that the pandemic returned back. It's there, even if you have a vaccination and other thing. So the logic first people have to understand, Spanish flu, H1N1, became pandemic in 1918, spread across 500 million people, killed 50 million people, and they disappear after 1 year due to we call antigen drift. The meaning of antigen drift is that the virus become weak and there is not enough viral load to create a disease in the body. Okay, so the flu virus H1N1 is still there, but it lost its ability after 1 year through the process called antigen drift. So you don't have to go technically it is, but the word, remember, it's called antigen drift. The meaning of antigen drift is over the time period, the virus become weak, so the number of virus cannot create enough antigen to infect the body for a disease. That's the antigen drift. Same thing happened with N2N2. So Spanish flu cure was not a vaccine, not a medicine. It disappeared by itself. It disappeared by itself. This is the thing people need to understand. Asian flu, again, 1958, it disappeared by itself, 1958. The virus strain was H2N2. The same mechanism happened after 1 year or 2 year, antigen drift happened. Okay, means virus was not able to produce enough antigen and it was automatically disappeared. No vaccine developed. 1968, Hong Kong flu, H3N3, same virus, same antigen drift, same category, influenza virus, the category of the influenza virus, but no vaccine. So there is a record in the past that we didn't need any vaccine. And it's not about a herd immunity. Like I just wanted to make sure, like means this time people talking about the herd immunity means the people have developed the immunity against the virus. In past 3 cases, it's not a herd immunity. It's an antigen drift. Antigen drift means the virus itself became so weak that it was not able to create a disease. So there's a difference between the herd immunity and antigen drift. So this is the thing people need to understand. How antigen drift happen? Through the process of social isolation, the lockdown, means virus you don't allow to spread from one person to the another person. When the virus get more and more people, the virus get stronger and stronger. So this antigen drift is not many people are talking about, right? So we are not talking about the herd immunity, we are talking about antigen drift. 3 cases in the past is disappeared the pandemic because of the antigen drift. Now this influenza virus returned in 2007, and in fact, like it was declared November 22nd, 2009. Again, the same strain of Spanish flu, H1N1. The strain of Spanish flu in 1918 was H1N1. The avian flu in 2009, the strain was H1N1. Okay, so it became like epidemic, it is spread around the world like that. So this is the thing, 100 years later or 90 years later, the same strain came back. So it's like influenza virus. Now come towards the coronavirus. The coronavirus 2002 is the SARS in Hong Kong, right? Then we have like MERS, and then we have the Ebola. Like there's a lot of like kind of cases. And now 2020, we have this particular epidemic, corona. Now the number of corona you see, it started somewhere in December. And just wanted to let you know, many Korean companies already have corona testing kit ready by December. So there's a lot of like a wrong information in the market, like, okay, the information came very late and then people came to know very late. No, it is not like that. If it is too late, then how come the Korean company already have a testing kit in December 2019, right? So the idea is like, between the middle of January, all the information was shared around the world. The information were already shared around the world. Now, there was a bird flu, what people need to understand, between 2003 to 2007. In Hong Kong, we all heard the bird flu. It's the same strain of H1N1, which was slightly modified as H5N1. So H and N are the same thing. So strain, it is an influenza virus, which is H and N, but this time it become H5N1. And then throughout the like 1 year later, 2 years later, we have so many strains of it. Coronavirus is more towards less number at the beginning. Okay, so I'm trying to see, like, means everyone has to grasp this logic very clearly. Like we are talking about two viruses, influenza virus and coronavirus. Like, so influenza virus is given as a one name H and N with the numbers. And it's still there and keep popping again and again. Coronavirus is already there, keep popping again. In 2002, it came. The infection rate was not very high, okay? But it was new, so it became a news around the world. It spread quickly and it disappeared quickly also. It is still there. Then the MERS is also came, disappear. But in this case, what happened is a primary host to become the secondary host. The primary host is the bat and the human become the secondary host. What people are missing over here, and people have to understand, this virus is not coming from the human being. This virus is coming from a bat. Bat is its primary home. Okay, is a migrant virus, is an immigrant virus. It immigrated from or migrated from bat to the human being. And in the human being, it is finding the adaptation. More we allow this virus to become comfortable with the human being, this viral disease will penetrate the human species more seriously. Less we allow this virus will disappear over the time period. So why this virus is not stopping? Why the case is in US is increasing so fast? Russia, Brazil, India, it's not stopping. Because this virus has established among the human community. They very well identify the human as a host. And it's a very intelligent creature. Their DNA, RNA is like trying to identify everything. So the virus is a very smart stuff. So like, don't treat them only one word called virus. No, it's not virus. It's a super intelligent stuff which can read our genetic material. So now what is happening? They have identified the host, which is the Homo sapiens, and getting settled down all around the world. Now, very interesting thing. We have heard a lot of news about vaccine, but still, do we have a vaccine? The answer is no. Why answer is no? Because the people who started working on the vaccine, that strain of the virus was active during, say, month of March. But today, maybe there are 30 more different strains of the virus. So the vaccine they have produced is not relevant to the virus which is spreading right now. That is why making vaccine is not that easy. It's only the media report, like there's so many media report, everyone is claiming the vaccine is coming. There's so many claim it's there, but it's not going to happen. Why? Because science doesn't work in that way. Science doesn't work in that way. Science work like, have to understand that this virus is not one single number or one single entity. This virus, which has started as a single strain, mutated over the 3-4 months time period, and now we have more than 40 to 50 different variety of this particular viruses. The only difference there is there are two type of them. One is called S type. S type is a low infectious variety, and L type is a high infectious variety. High infectious variety is low in number. Only 20% of the strains are L type. That is why you see not many mortality around the world. 80% types are low infectious variety. That is why so many people are getting infected but not dying. So that's a luck. So what is the low mortality virus or low infectious S type? It is transformed from the primary host to the secondary host. So from bat directly to the human body. But the much serious one, first transfer from the primary host to the secondary host. Primary host is a bat, secondary host is a pangolin, and from pangolin to the human. So you see there are two kind of transformation took place. One is directly from bat to the human, and second is from bat to the pangolin, and from pangolin to the human. So the transformation which took place from bat to the pangolin and pangolin to the human is more dangerous one. But the percentage of this is much lesser, only 20%. But the transformation which took place directly from the bat to the human is less serious or dangerous. So it is spreading very fast, but not creating a mortality. Now, what happened in this particular case, we have to understand this, which every human being should understand these two things. Today, it became the social responsibility or community responsibility, which is like the R0 factor and SI factor. Whether you are technical or non-technical, everyone must be talking this virus in terms of R0 factor and SI factor. And these two things make everyone confused. Even the World Health Organization, even the scientists, doctors, administration, everyone. We got trapped between R0 and SI factors. And that is why different protocols, what different governments set up in the past, they had to keep changing all the time. What is R0 factor? This is like the infection rate or the reproduction rate. So usually, initially, it was 1 to 3. It means like the one person can infect 3, 3 can infect 9, 9 can infect 27, and so forth, so on. R0 was 3. So the idea was to bring R0 to the 1. If we cannot bring R0 to the 1, we cannot deal with this virus because this will keep growing on. That's what happened in Hong Kong. Forget about 3. Instead of coming 1, it became 0 for some time. But again, it came back like, see, last 3-4 days, double digit. Right now, the R0 increase in Hong Kong, it became 4. So one person is infecting 4, 4 to 16, 16 to 64, like that. So there's no chance. This is a science. No one can deny this. Like if R0 is very high, very few person are infected, but we know that like 4 times more number will come very soon. So that is why we need to watch what is happening, what will happen in next 5 days or 10 days. Today is the fifth day Hong Kong has a triple digit cases where non-traceable cases are very high. The moment we say non-traceable cases, it means now it is a community spread. When it is a sporadic spread means you can trace back from the source from where you got infection. Community spread means you cannot track back anymore from where the source is. And once it is get into the community spread, the numbers go very high, and you can see all around the world that's what happening, right? So that's the key thing around the world. Like 2 days back, there was a 75,000 cases in one day in US. India touched almost 50,000 cases in one night, like that in Brazil, in Russia. So you see how many thousands cases is still going on in the world. So there's only two options. One, we create a complete lockdown. We don't give the human opportunity virus to jump into the human body. So then when the virus do not get a human, it try to decline and come down. And that's what happening. The people are not listening around the world, and they are still going out, meeting with people, and spreading the virus. So this is the first part, why this virus spread so badly. The second part of this virus, why it spread so badly, is asymptomatic cases. Now we know very well there are such a large number of the people around the world, they do not have the symptom of COVID-19, but they are carrying the virus SARS-CoV-2. This is the thing. So this is the another major reason why SARS, this particular COVID-19 is spreading so badly, because we have so many people around us all over the world who do not have a symptom of COVID-19 disease, but they are carrying the virus. So we don't know, like we are meeting so many people, interacting with them, so we are still getting a kind of like contact with them, and we are carrying the virus. And if our immune system is low, we have a pre-health condition, we are getting like we are catching the disease or the virus, asymptomatic patient. So second big thing is we have a millions and millions of asymptomatic patients around us. Okay, so we don't know who are they. Okay, so that's what it is, that if you don't see, again I repeating, if you don't see doesn't mean they don't exist. This is an invisible enemy. Okay, it may be inside your room, it is in the air, it's around you, you can't see it. And that's where the human intelligence is failing to cope up with this invisible virus. Again, in my seminar, many seminar, I always used to ask one interesting question: why we all have two eyes? Why not the three eyes? And the answer I want to establish is a kind of like a strong genetic feature of the human body. Our human body is well established because of our genetic feature. So the 21st century, the biggest discovery, you can say, in the medical science or in biological science is the discovery of the genetics. And right now, this very invisible virus is nothing but is a genetical disease, because it is a strand of RNA which get into our body and find the another RNA, take away from our DNA, multiply it. So it's like, I don't want to go much detail into the technical aspect, but it's a genetical disease. Don't take it something like a food recipe kind of things, like you are having a mango shake, so you put like mango is good for health, or bitter melon is good for this. No, it's a most complicated biological science which is based on genetics or molecular biology. And I want to give you one reference where people can understand with this is, if we can deal with this virus so easily, we would have answered cancer. Because we don't have the answer of the cancer, that's where we are not able to deal with this disease. Because the nature of both is the same. In cancer also, like how the genetical mutation is taking place in the tumor, no one can predict it. It's very unpredictable. And that's what the simplest way people to understand that cancer, why we don't have a so far the solution for the cancer. A very one simple reason: it's not a physical science, it's not a chemistry, it's a biology, it's purely random, which no one can predict and calculate. So therefore the only solution came up like, okay, kill the cancer cell. So by killing cancer cell, which called the chemotherapy, is no, it's not dealing with the biological system. So far, like we think about like a immunotherapy or genetic based therapy, which is trying to identify the genetic mutation and to deal with that. You have to keep the same mindset with the coronavirus here. That's exactly going on. It goes inside the body. It has a lot of biological pathways. Initially, people say, okay, it infects the respiratory system. But now, after so many autopsy, it's not a respiratory system. It is affecting your lung, it's affecting your liver, it's affecting your kidney, it's affecting your whole body, it's affecting even brain. It's clotting blood. So you see, like that's what happened. Initially, it was a very fearful disease. There was no autopsy, so there was no research data available. So people think like, okay, corona like SARS-1, it's infecting only the lung. But now we know that it's not only infecting lung. There's so many things are happening. One of the major thing is the blood clotting. And most of the people, those who have a heart condition or hypertension, irregular heartbeat, cardiovascular, other kind of form of cardiovascular disease as a very high risk of this. Why? Because like it's a blood clotting. Same like a kidney, same like liver. So that's the another part. Lot of asymptomatic patient or carrier, I will not call them patient, they are the carrier, because cis SARS-CoV-2 virus is not able to create a disease inside them. So they are the carrier. But then when they come in contact with a person who has a weak immunity or pre-health condition, is taking the same virus, can cause a disease. So this is the thing people need to understand. A one person cannot cause a disease and got a SARS-CoV-2 virus. And there are millions of them around us. But when they come in contact with a person who has a pre-health condition or weak immunity, the same virus is creating a disease. That's how this disease is spreading. Now it has a two mode, a direct mode and indirect mode. So obviously none of us are so stupid that we will go and meet a COVID patient and shake a hand and he sneeze or do like, we are not coming, like everyone is taking precaution not to come in direct contact with the patient, right? This much common sense everyone have. But still the disease is spreading. It means there's a lot of indirect transmission is going on. So focused people have to pay attention towards the indirect transmission. What is the indirect transmission? Now, one thing, it is very much confirmed that when you sneeze, most of the virus survive around 24 hours or maximum 1 day or 2 day or 1.5 day, and they die. This is the history of the virus. So there's no chance of getting infected if you're not coming in contact with the person. But in this case, now it is confirmed that when the patient is sneezing, they are keeping this in the air, virus alive for 8 days minimum. Okay, so 7 to 8 days, like it's airborne. When the virus started surviving in the air, on the surface, more than 24 hours, now we can say it's airborne. Means it can survive a non-human host. It doesn't need a host cell for a certain time period. So that's the situation. So now imagine that someone in your building got this virus. Okay, he doesn't have a symptom, and he used the elevator. He went down 9 a.m. in the morning. He is asymptomatic. He doesn't know he has a virus, and he sneezes in the elevator. Now this elevator, the lift is completely infected with the virus. If the management is not sanitizing the lift, not only see, these are the minor things going on which people are doing mistake. What they are doing, sanitizing the button. But you have to ask your management, are they sanitizing the air inside the lift? If not, this virus is on the air inside the lift. Now 3 p.m., you go inside the lift, and if you have the weak immunity, you take this virus from the guy who went asymptomatic 9 a.m. over there. So that's where now, when you show up the symptom, your symptom is not traceable, because you don't know, like you didn't come in contact with any person. That's exactly now happening in the world with most of the cases. We call they are not traceable. Some asymptomatic patient went to the vegetable market, went to restaurant, went to different places, 10 a.m. in the morning. And then you went to the same place, 4 p.m. in the evening, afternoon. And you are touching the same places and all those kind of things. You have absolutely no idea. You think like, I can't see any person. But yes, you brought that virus back to your home. So whoever has a weakest immunity is appearing. That's what's happening right now all around the world. The biggest mistake by the government, by the health authorities, everyone, because what they are not focusing. Sometimes that's what happened. Like there's a lot of a problem in this kind of pandemic. There's the government policies, there's the protocols, there's like a management, and then also the healthcare system, and along with this, community participation. Community is not participating. I can see everywhere so many people are having so much fun. Despite of government is telling them, I still want to see people honestly wearing the mask. People are not wearing the mask. And now what government has to do? Like they are putting the penalty on the people, right? So these are the indirect transmission. Now come to the third part, which is like a very interesting and very dangerous part. We have a 14 days quarantine time period. And it was put in this way that if within 14 days, the disease do not appear, you are okay. But now the results are showing, some people showing the result of disease after 1 month, 2 months, and cases reported even after 6 months around the world, right? So now the answer is no one knows what is the exact time of disease show up, symptom show up. That's called the SI factor. So usually in all the viruses, the SI factor is 2 days, 3 days. In COVID-19, SI is average is 4.2 days. I mean, the majority of the people show the symptom between 2 to 10 days. So they put the bar on 14 days. But then it's a majority of the people. But there are so many people who are not following this rule. They have like a symptoms appearing after 14 days, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and so forth, so on. A lot of things. So these are the escaped people who are out there by not thinking that, okay, I have completed my successful quarantine of 14 days, may still carrying the virus and infecting the other people, infecting other people. Okay. So these are the three things. I hope like you all understand. These are the three major way the virus is not able to stop, and it's not stopping. Now come down to the news from all over the world. Okay, starting from different kind of HIV drugs, hydrochloroquine, zinc combination. There's so many like drugs, and in fact, like Veena, if you heard the yesterday news, like in my university, Narendra, in my university, we have like Hong Kong University have tested more than 10,000 drugs combinations, not one and two, 10,000 drug combinations. Okay, and still have no answer. So that's what you have to understand. So it's not a one or two drugs combination, it's a 10,000 drug combination tested by Hong Kong University. It was a TV news yesterday in Hong Kong or day before yesterday, and it's still not any answer. Okay, so what does that mean? That people still try to learn about this virus. How we take a conclusion over here, people are learning about this virus. No one can say very confirmatively that yes, they know about it. Okay, so this is the interpretation that so far, unless there's a promising things declare collectively from the world, there's no medication and there's no vaccine so far. Although there's a lot of research going on and people are working on that. Okay, so how we have to interpret that people are learning about COVID virus, scientists are learning about the COVID virus, they are doing a lot of research, and there are so many research are under progress. But if someone claim that they have found a cure for it, that's a kind of a misleading kind of explanation, right? So the correct explanation here is scientists all around the world, pharmaceutical company, research lab, they are learning. They are under the process of research. They are doing a lot of combination. And I gave this example of the Hong Kong University. They have tested like hundreds and thousands of different combination. But if you hear all this news, there's a one thing coming very common. That common thing is this information should be cautiously interpreted. Interpret means they are giving you a word, a kind of a disclaimer that, okay, I'm saying that, okay, there is a vaccine there and this and that and all those kind of things, but you should interpret it like with caution. It means it's not there. So now here we stand. We have a disease, which is pandemic. The virus is spreading. It's still so many cases going on around the world. It's not stopping. We don't have any medicine. So what we should do? The question comes what we should do. Till the vaccine comes in or till any kind of medicine comes in, what we should do. So there are two things here. So that's what happened in the past three big pandemics, like Spanish flu, Asian flu, Hong Kong flu. Social isolation or physical isolation, right? So that's what happened. You wear the mask, you keep washing your hands, you sanitize your home. So wherever the virus is finding the host, you try to kill that virus through the hygiene process. Don't allow it to get to the another host, even you are inside your home. So what happened? There are 4 kind of chemical which is very well approved with the common consent and the research background, research information from all over the world. And as I mentioned that before, the first is like alcohol, which contain over 62 to 70% of alcohol. So that is the one thing, is killing this virus within three minutes. The second one is 0.5% hydrogen peroxide based bleach, which you can get in any supermarket, which is again killing this virus within 3 minutes. Third one is 0.1% sodium hypochlorite based detergent. Again, available like in many things. But you see, like 0.2 and 3, both are bleaches, and first one is the alcohol. Now there's a number 4 came is a ClO2, chlorine dioxide. Chlorine dioxide is a kind of chemical. I would like you to Google chlorine dioxide and its effect on influenza virus and coronavirus. Is a very well known around the world. And Narendra, especially for you, you deal with a lot of hospitals, and chlorine dioxide used to disinfect the hospitals. In fact, like in US, when anthrax attack was there, they tried to clean the anthrax from chlorine dioxide. Is a kind of like a different kind of compound which create a chlorine dioxide in the liquid format. But this liquid format can be spread in all the places. There's a different concentration. There's a lot of information available out there. Is one of the best disinfect for the hospitals because it's not a bleach and it's not alcohol. So it's a pretty safe. It's safe by WHO and other kind of thing. So we have this 4 choices kind of things. So what happened, like I come back here, somehow the quarantine procedure of 14 days is not working. Okay. Because this virus is appearing after more than 14 days in many people. So obviously, technically, we cannot put a person 3 months into a lockdown or quarantine, or 2 months into the quarantine. It's non-practical kind of thing. So every person has to take a responsibility for the self-quarantine now by understanding that, okay, this is a long-term kind of stuff. And that's where the second part comes, your immunity. So now 2 things I would like to jump over here. As I mentioned, as we are getting more information, a lot of autopsies been done. And one of the most interesting part, which scientists and the doctors have found, is the blood clotting. There's a very huge amount of blood clotting, which has nothing to do with the lung, right? Why? Because there's a ACE2 receptor. ACE2 receptor not only found in lungs, but in a blood too. And then this is the ACE2 receptor where this coronavirus is going and locking in. So obviously the primary locking is your lungs, but then our blood is providing a wonderful a fleet of ACE2 receptors. So what is happening, like even the people do not have a heart disease, they are dying from the cardiac arrest because of the clotting. So there is a multiple kind of things, and that is why you see the whole world is saying the senior citizen should be very careful, because with the age, our immunity goes down. So now this virus has changed from lungs to the whole body. Even it found in the brain. So question coming here is how to increase your immune system, and how do we know we have a high immune system? How can we measure it? So the answer here is I want to take like a little bit Indian example over here right now. That in India, if you know, we have Ayush Ministry, and Ayush Ministry look after a medicinal plant or herbal plant-based medicine, and which we call Ayurveda, Unani, homeopathy, everything like that. It's a plant-based. So what happened like so far in a layman language, we say, okay, turmeric is good for immune system, or holy basil is good for immune system. But in science, what we do, in science, we see what are the molecules inside in turmeric or cinnamon or holy basil, which basically enhance our immune system. Now, what is this immune system? The two things are happening. One is we have our innate immune system, which is by birth. So innate immune system is actually the white blood cells. But when the lot of research happened, through this research, we came to know that one of the cell from the innate immune system is called NK cell, natural killer cell. The natural killer cell is playing a lot of important role, okay, to kill the coronavirus. Means like when the coronavirus is infected the layer inside the body, so the cells, those who are infected, natural killer cell go and destroying the infected cell. That's a very important thing. But now what we have learned, most of the immune system which is working against corona is the adaptive immune system, which is a B cell and T cell. So the barrier immune system and innate immune system is not working very well. It's already passing it. So the final line of defense is a T cell, which in HIV, if you see like what is the HIV and AIDS attack like the T cell, and once the T cell is dead, our whole immune system collapse. So T cell is basically playing a most powerful immune defense in our body, or you can say this is like your atomic weapon inside your body in terms of your immune system, and rest are like your minor weapons. So few things I would like to say. In last 2-3 years, the certain diseases happen in the world. There's a new herb was discovered to have a very high impact on T cell, is called giloy. Okay, giloy is getting very popular in India, Africa, South America. And most of the people using giloy with the cinnamon. So they use a giloy roots, leaves, crush it with cinnamon, and drink as a cinnamon like a soup or tea or whatever like that. So that's a one combination, the giloy and the cinnamon. The second combination is coming, neem. As we know, neem is there. So neem has like antibacterial property. And sometime in order to avoid viruses, we have to keep the surface bacteria free. You see, this is another mistake happening with the people. People suddenly completely focus on virus and forgot about the bacteria. If you have a more bacterial surface, it will give a favorable ground for virus to grow. Okay, so having a bacteria-free surface or bacteria-free home will help you to reduce the load of the virus. So bacteria and virus has a relationship. If you have the high bacterial load or high fungal load, it shows that your body is not well accommodated for the hygiene process. It's not a very well hygienically maintained body if you have a high bacterial load. So this is the indication that if you have a body skin itching, you have like little bit sore throat or something, it's not about like, see, people are saying, oh, don't worry, it's not corona, it's not COVID, you have a normal flu. But if you have a normal flu, it's an indication that your immune system is weak. That is why you're getting a flu. So at this stage, people should not get any kind of flu-like symptom. That shows like your immune system is high. In every immune system, T cell is playing very important role. Natural killer cell is playing very important role. So here is the list of the things. So as I said, giloy is the one. Second is neem. Third one is turmeric. Okay, turmeric, which has a more than 5% curcumin. Because there's again something like there's a turmeric grow like so many countries. We have a turmeric in India, we have turmeric in Sri Lanka, we have turmeric in Philippines. But it's not about turmeric, it's about the curcumin percentage inside turmeric. If the turmeric do not have over 5% of curcumin, it's not effective, right? So we need an effective curcumin percentage like that. But now then the combination comes, the turmeric, onion, ginger, and garlic. I'm using the word garlic and onion. Why garlic and onion? Because it has high in sulfur. It is high in sulfur, especially onion. Onion is high in sulfur. So people need to use onion at this moment. Okay. Then people need to have a zinc supplementation. There's a food which can provide zinc like that. There's another well-established product in Indian medicinal plant, we say ashwagandha. Ashwagandha has a very documentally research evidence to promote our immune system as well. So then it's again a T immune system. So now we have taken a few names: ashwagandha, turmeric, giloy, neem. These are the main set of immune boosting thing. Now come down to the most important. In Hindi we call it Tulsi or holy basil. Holy basil is well known for the respiratory health. And now because the primary source is a lung and through the nose, I think it's recommended for every person to have a Tulsi tea at least every day. Okay. But with Tulsi, the other combination will come amla. So if you add amla with Tulsi tea, this will enhance your vitamin C level, antioxidant kind of things. And Tulsi has a lot of properties to deal with like your immunity for the lung health kind of things. And then if you do certain breathing exercise, this breathing can do very well, which go along with your increase the benefit of your Tulsi and other stuff. So these are a kind of a snapshot right now in the current scenario. And then you have to see like, we have learned a lot from the past. And the funny thing, what people need to realize that when we had very few cases around the world, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, we were very panicking. Now we have millions of cases and we are not panicking. So human behavior is the another thing people need to understand. If this virus become very big and have a lot of mortality, it is nothing to do with the science, because by now we know the scientific pattern of this virus. What is going to make this disease very big is the ignorance of the human behavior. So human behavior has to come and play a very important part. And what is the part is everyone need to justify themselves like, hey, why you were so sincere when it is only 100 and 200,000 cases around the world, and when it is like a millions in cases, everyone got relaxed. Why? Because we keep hearing for many months. So the social behavior and the how the human brain works for every human being, that's what we need to understand. So there's a new research started now, what is called like how we deal with like uh, as a mental health or our consciousness, uh, playing with like managing our ignorance, be very alert. Okay, and these all things is putting a kind of like a community pressure right now. So I think like 50 to 60% role today is coming on the hand of the community. Government is doing their job, hospitals are doing their job. If you see around the world, like I think the healthcare people are doing their job fantastically. We can't ask anything more than them. They have proved, they have shown what they can do, right? Dedicatedly they have done. This is a different case. Some country has more resources, some country has less resources, but like they have done fantastic job. All the governments, most of the government, I will say, they have done proper precautions and whatever the measures they can do. What is the missing link? Missing link is the community. In the Facebook we can see, in US and Brazil and India and even in Hong Kong now, we see you name the place around the world, people are like, say, you don't gather out of 4, restaurant is closed, but they are meeting at home, number of 20, 30. So it's very difficult to understand this kind of people, like what's going on in their mind, right? So we need now, in actual term, a corona ambassador, a community ambassador, those who learn and go out in the community and try to teach other people that what is our social responsibility. So I would like to end this talk by saying this is a time, it's a high time to become absolute socially responsible person, okay, by learning everything. And if we are socially responsible person, we have to take a pledge that whatever the people you know around your community, you need to go and inspire them that, hey, for a time being, we are in the corona time period, and please cooperate, like become a role model. Like there are so many like community leaders in every city. I think today it's a role for every community leader, they can become a role model for so many people, because all the young people and other people, they follow the community leader. So the community leaders need to become vocal, they need to give some kind of a statement, they need to like create a certain kind of pledge. And even Naren, like I wish like you put some wonderful article by in your next coming thing, like a message to the world, you know, in your magazine, a message to the world that the role of the uh, the citizens, like so far we know like what doctors are doing, what hospitals are doing, what scientists are doing, but what is the role of the citizen? Because unless we define the role of the citizen, it is very difficult to deal with this disease, the what is looking out. Now why it is like that? Because we have so many untraceable cases now in Hong Kong or around the world. So once we have untraceable cases, we left with nothing but one choice: wait and watch. What we can do, wait and watch? We can do wait and watch only 2 things. One, wait for vaccine to come in. Wait for medicine to come in. And second is do the strict social distancing or quarantine, self-quarantine measure, minimize your activities, try to become online more and more to give the message to the community. And I think this is today's my message again, to start with, the community is going to play a significant role. We have learned a lot from this virus in last 6 months, and we are learning a lot, and there's a long way to go. This is not going to disappear anywhere soon. This I have mentioning since 11th of January. I don't change my opinion into this. I'm saying wearing the mask from day one. I don't change my statement that, okay, mask wearing or not wearing mask. But that's where sometimes, as a scientist, I have a question, like WHO is keep changing their statement so many times. And there's so many scientists, like they are like not to, they don't understand like how the administration works. 2 days back, there's a report like the 149 or 150 scientists has wrote a mail to Donald Trump to implement certain kind of protocol. So now this is a new things we are learning, that the administration is not listening to the scientists around the world. So there's a lot of conflict. Maybe because of the administration resources, implementation resources, I don't know. But I think like everyone is doing their job good. Let's do our job. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay, for sharing the update on the current COVID-19 situation. Yes, we do really need to become socially responsible citizens. And I think, yes, we are all social animals as well. We love to connect with people. So that's why once things kind of get better, we like to go out and connect. And, you know, we don't like to pay attention to all the work that we've put in. And in 1 month time, again, in Hong Kong, we're back there and even worse this time. So I would like to, we have a few more minutes. I would like to leave it to the floor to see if you have any questions to ask Dr. Sanjay. So I'm going to unmute all of you. If you could unmute yourselves, and also if you could show your beautiful faces, that would be great.
And Narendra is still muted. Narendra is not unmute.
Narendra, please unmute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've got it unmuted.
Yes. So does anyone have any questions?
Yes, Sanjay, I have a question.
Yes, I can ask a question. Yes.
Yep. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Sanjay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, wonderful. I just found one, it leaves me a little confused. You just said, I mean, regarding the type of viruses, you said that we have now 30 different strains of virus. And then you said they now jumped up to 40, 50. And then you came to 2 types of viruses, S and L. So I'm a little confused because you also said that there is and will not be a vaccine. But in the same breath, you also said that scientists are now working on a vaccine. So are we going to have a vaccine? Or are we not going to have a vaccine? And I won't go into the types of strains and all that. It doesn't matter. End of the day, what matters is, are we going to have a vaccine or are we not going to have a vaccine in your estimation?
Okay, so there's a lot of like vaccine trials going on. So before that, try to understand SLL are the 2 types.
Right.
So one type is the low mortality type, is like
the L
means S. It has a low mortality. Okay, low mortality, like less mortality.
Got you. Yeah.
And L has a high mortality.
Yeah, which is 20%.
Yeah, 20%. So 20% of the virus strains are L type. This L type virus means first it is come from bat and gone to the pangolin, and from pangolin it came to the human being. Okay, so there's a primary host, secondary host, and human is the third host. So the virus has gone through a more mechanical mutation changes kind of things before it came to the human. That is why it's more deadly. The first one, S type, is directly from the bat to the human being. So it is like a direct transmission kind of thing. So it's like much milder. But the infection rate of both is very high. Is it clear?
Okay.
Like infection rate is, that is why it's spreading very fast. But the S type is killing people. The killing ability of S type is low. And the killing ability of L type is very high. Now,
So are we
all
saying
the,
that, sorry.
yeah, please say.
No, please continue. I'm sorry.
So when we put all the virus in one bucket, 80% of the genetic features are same in all the strains and all the virus. The only thing is 20% keep changing. So in fact, like the interesting thing is there, the 80% of this particular virus is also similar as a SARS virus, SARS-CoV-1. But because of the 20%, now what is happening, the genetic sequence of this 20% was very different when this virus started spreading at the beginning. So all the research which started, we have to work on the absolute genetic makeup, 99.9%. So the strains we have worked on in the vaccine, by now that virus has evolved and there's a new virus already there. When we say new virus, means that 20% has changed. It's not like before. So this is always a kind of a struggle with a vaccine manufacturer. Like you keep making the vaccine, and by the time vaccine is ready, the virus is changed. So then that vaccine become useless. This is a very standard vaccine manufacturing process. And that is why in order to have a perfect vaccine, it says like a minimum time period is 18 months. So this is based on the past history, that whenever we see we have a vaccine, it took minimum 18 months. But on average, you go to polio virus, you go to chicken pox, you go to influenza, all this disease what we have, average time period 6 to 8 years. So what we have to see here, this is the first virus in the social media time period we are hearing a lot. But when we see in the science, what is the past record is saying? The past record is saying vaccine manufacturing is not easy. It average time takes 6 to 8 hours, but there are many vaccines which they manage to have it, is the time period is minimum 18 months. So therefore, I say that there's a lot of research is going on right now and virus is mutating. But the scientists,
sorry to interrupt, but at this moment, you have pharmaceutical companies in UK who have successfully tested the vaccine. You have pharmaceutical companies who are close to basically calling victory in India. You have 3 companies in the US who have also gone to that stage 3 where they have successfully tested. They've gone through, they're not on the stage 1 and 2, they've gone into C, and D is the one when they actually commercially available. And I mean, from whatever I hear from 2 of the leaders of the most affected countries, Trump and Modi, both are basically, I mean, Narendra Modi has gone on television and saying that we will have a vaccine by the 15th of August.
exactly.
Trump is talking about the same thing. And apparently here in America, they already do have the vaccine. And that vaccine is something that has been administered to the senior political circles. And that's why they are actually walking and moving around without a mask. So what is the reality? I mean, on one side, we hear 18 months, then we hear 6 to 8 years. All of that is true. That is historically right. Scientists have taken that long. But on the other hand, are we talking about a vaccine that might cure only the S type and the less milder cases, and we will remain with the 20% L case, which will still be infecting people around?
Okay, so that's where the answer is hiding. The vaccine or whatever we are hearing, this is like the first phase of the virus. There is a lot of virus with the initial strain. We get a lot of result out of it. So the people, those who are getting infected with those kind of strains, may have a positive result with those kind of vaccines which we are talking about. So in India,
so we are
for
talking
example,
about 80%.
Not exactly 80%. 80% is a S type, but within S type, It's mutated. There's so many different strains. So when it started, when the vaccine started, it was only three, four strains there, mutation. But now there are more than 38, 40 strains, or even 50. Why? Because previously, no one was doing autopsy. People were not touching the corpse who were dying. So there was no idea that how many strains were there. They were dumping the dead bodies. But now, as we're learning, there's few autopsy been done. And after the autopsy, people are learning, wow, there are so many different variations. So the virus which got infected before the March, or say by the March, I would say they may have certain solution, but the virus, those mutated in the month of like say June or July, we still need to wait for them. So it's not a one
I
single
see.
solution. There is no one single solution for COVID-19. There will be a multiple solution for the COVID-19 at the
Are you
initial
aware,
stage.
Sanjay, are you aware? And it is, I can send you some documentary proof on that. Are you aware that the worldwide cases have been exaggerated by 10 times?
See, there is a lot of information like that, but like how we are doing, say,
I'm talking from a
uh,
very first-hand reports from hospitals who are doing that for the insurance payouts. I'm
yes,
hearing that
exactly.
from hospitals who are in league with the laboratories and
Yes.
the state governments sucking money out of the central government accepting that, knowing all of that is true. In reality, in both the countries, India and in the US, the cases are exaggerated by 10 to 17 times. And I have on record some of the doctors who actually refused to call those cases positive, but were challenged by the administration to declare them positive. And the next morning, they had an insurance payout of $30,000 per patient, and they had a check of $510,000. I have documentary proof of that. Now, I'm not investigative journalism. If I would, and if I want to, there I could throw this whole damn thing, slash it off the face on what is happening on COVID. It is, in my mind, it is a scare that they want to continue with. They want a scare not for anything else, but for two reasons. One is the financial support they're getting from the government coffers. And the second is a lot of resetting of the economy, where the inflation had gone at the sky high levels, and the resetting the economy to a point where uh, they need a couple of months to do that. And this is real. We wait until we are here. I'm on record here online with you. We wait until September, maybe, yeah, mid-September to end September, I would say. You would see a significant number of improvement of COVID positive cases testing negative. They already are negative, and they will be officially tested negative. And your two leaders are going to go dancing to the nearby bar or the nearest disco around, basically saying we won over COVID. And we will see that happening. And I'm talking about pure documentary proof.
Narendra, I'm aware about it, and I fully agree what you are saying. Therefore, in scientific things, we are doing the calibration plus minus 35%. So 35%
Wow,
is we are
really?
thinking is a bogus result. Uh,
Wow.
Trying to
Oh, I
give
didn't
you
know
this
that.
one with one example here that say in India, the people in the big city, if they're diagnosed with COVID-19, they are getting 1.5 lakhs rupees for the treatment, every person, right? So what you are saying, that is true, like many private hospitals, whether the people have COVID or not COVID, they are declare COVID, and once they are COVID, then they get 1.5 lakhs rupees like that. So there is a rumor, and there is a lot of like this kind of conspiracy theory where people saying like they are not COVID positive, but they have a flu, cough, cold, whatever like that, and they are all given positive test of COVID just to get the money, as you said, like that, right? So that's the thing is there, and that is why like there's a calibration of 35% plus minus kind of things in
And
the actual data.
can you look at the statistics that will tell you that there have been no non-COVID deaths between February and June? Where did these people go? Where were hospitals were always busy. Hospitals were always uh, had no vacancies, not just. But suddenly COVID came, and what happened to the cancer patient, heart patient? All different 50, 30 major and another 30 subsidiary categories. Where did those patients suddenly vanish? They're not there.
This is actually like a very big things coming up, like because you are in this field, you understand it better. We can have like a full length conversation on this, and I absolutely agree with it, and many things will unfold. A lot of ethical issues are there, a lot of things happening here right now, and many things what we don't know. But I will endorse definitely that insurance companies and the government funding has motivated a lot of like private hospitals and the private practitioners
Yes.
to get involved into what you are saying that. Okay, so then there's no control. There's no civil service.
And you know what? In the last 15 days, I've been meeting. I mean, Singapore has opened up. I'm meeting so many doctors here now. So many on a daily basis. We are doing the clinic awards in December. We're signing. I mean, all of them are signing up. All of them want that. They were just totally quiet. The world had forgotten them, and they all want that recognition. They all want that prominence all over again. So we signing like literally left, right, and center. And all of them are telling me horror stories about COVID, which is
No, it is.
absolutely no semblance to to what we are hearing in the media. The reality is an entirely different level.
So I would say like you can put it in this way. Is a very simple, like we put like the S type and L type. L type is only 20%. So maybe let's put in this way, the reality and the fear is only 20%, and 80% is the thing is kind of like a capitalizing the economy on that.
Yes, I would agree with you, sir. I would agree with you, Dr. Sanjay.
So like that, yeah, something like that.
I would agree with you on that one. Yeah.
Yes,
anyway,
Manohar.
but I would like to have a separate chat with you one of these days, because this is very interesting, and what I'm seeing and what you are saying, I mean, is a merger of the science with the actual reality on the medical side.
No, definitely. Like you hit the very serious point, actually. Like no one is talking about it, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like
great. Thank you so much.
A lot.
It was a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, I have to leave. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye. Yes, Manohar. Can you unmute the mic of Manohar, please?
I have, but his
Manohar mic is still muted.
Needs to unmute himself, because I'm trying to unmute him, but not possible here.
Yeah, Manohar, your mic is not. You need to unmute your mic.
It should be at the bottom left corner of the computer you're using. Because I have unmuted all, but his computer.
Yeah, now can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, can you speak a little bit louder? Like means.
She has muted me. Now she unmuted me.
Yeah, Manohar, your voice is very dull. I cannot hear your voice.
Okay, so now.
Can you use a mic or something?
No, I'm okay. Now let me see if I can change something. I don't know. Now can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but like the voice is very dim.
Maybe you increase the volume in your computer. Do you have a volume?
How about now?
Okay, slightly better. Yeah, I will try to manage your yeah. Listen carefully. Yeah.
I have a few questions. One question to start with. How many government is saying that they don't know the source of virus and they want to send investigators.
Okay, I know how. I have a solution. I have a solution. I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you. Put you on microphone, the mic, so that he can listen.
You're going to call me?
No, I can hear Manohar.
Yeah. Veena?
Okay, yeah, you can tell. You can ask, and then I can just.
No, it's echoing. It doesn't. I could hear before better. Yeah.
He can hear you.
Yeah, Manohar, go ahead. Like, I can hear you.
Okay. Now this American government is saying that they are not sure the source of virus and they want to send investigator to China, but China is not allowing them to send the investigators. Whereas you are saying with the confidence, the first host is a bat. The bat is the main host. The Americans, they don't agree. So what makes you confident to say the first source is a bat?
The answer to this is there is a database. There is a database, and the bat virus, which called RTG virus, which is a bat virus, and this coronavirus is 99.9% similar. Is the same virus, right? Virus structure. And this is not first time happening. It already happened in 2002 during the SARS. So this is like a SARS virus of 2002 with little bit variation. So only 20% of this are the new, rest is the same.
So why the US government insisting to send the investigator to China to find out? They are not convinced.
See, if you see like a lot of the news exchanging, like we have to go like little bit background of this, that there are certain people who belong to the China army or high position in China. They hide their like identity and went to the US, became the researcher in the US universities, and then like started sending some kind of information back to China. And then there is a US formal collaboration with what we call the high infectious virus facility in Wuhan. So they have the official collaboration with these two countries. They were doing the joint research. Now both the countries somewhere hiding. I will not say China only hiding. US is also hiding, which no one knows. Because number one, they are both in the joint research facility. It was a joint research facility. Second is, if we see from the American point of view, they are accusing like, okay, some of these people supplying the data to the China kind of things, right? So they have a lot of doubts about it, that it's a man-made. Okay, let's put in this a man-made. But ultimately it's a bad virus. So the sequencing of that is a bad virus. There's no new sequencing of it. So say, for example, insulin, right? I just wanted to give you a very good example. Insulin is made in the body, right? But we can chemically synthesize also that insulin. The molecular structure is the same. So the virus structure is the same. Now it doesn't matter someone has done amplification chemically or artificially, or it is really spreaded organically, right? So that's where it answer you, because what we notice the hospital data. All our research based on coming from the hospitals, like how many patients falling sick, how many patients are recovering. So it is all based on the hospital. It's nothing to based on media, community, and anything.
Okay, coming back to what you're saying, recovery, millions of people also have recovered.
Yes.
What are the medicines which they have used, which have stopped the recovery of the people? Why the same medicine cannot be used for other people? Now, some people have a blood group is A, some people is a B blood group, and some is O. So they should have been able to find out which medicine is good for which blood group. last time I had asked you a question 2 months ago, and you say you come back
Plasma therapy. Yeah.
plasma donation therapy. You said you'll come back to me, but you forgot to come back. It's already 2 months now. So maybe you can tell me now why this has not been used plasma breath therapy.
Okay. So as I said, there are two type of, now we know there are two type of viruses. One is S type. S type is a low mortality, means it is not killing the people. And there's a L type, which is like a high mortality, means it's killing more people. But whether it is a S type and L type, is both are highly infectious. It means like infection is spreading very fast, but it is not necessary that three things. One, the person is infected but will develop a disease. That's what called asymptomatic patient. So that's what we have learned. So virus is spread, got inside, situation one, asymptomatic patient means not developing a symptom. Number two, virus got infected, they're developing a symptom, they don't need any medication, they can do the self-quarantine and basic kind of things, and virus is disappearing automatically after 14 days, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks. Number three, the people are getting infected, they're like the virus getting infected, the lung get infected, and they have so many complications, so they need to go into the medical treatment. But these people don't need to go into the ICU.
My question is about the blood plasma therapy.
Yeah, so plasma therapy, what happened, many people, the general principle of the plasma therapy was many people who got infected with COVID virus, they may have developed a certain kind of antibodies. So it is a kind of a ready-made alternate of the vaccination, basically, right? Because you can give that and they can develop antibodies. But what happened, it found that more than 65 to 70% of the population, the plasma therapy is not working. What does that mean? That the antibodies which has prepared in the people where they recovered from it, it's not able to produce the similar amount of antibodies in the new patient. Why? Is still undergoing on the research. So that's what happens. So like plasma therapy is doing well with only 25 to 30% people, and all the people with a good health condition, irrespective of their blood group. So the research is saying doesn't matter what are your blood group is, A, B, O, AB, or whatever like that, all of the people got recovered from plasma therapy. Whether it is a children, whether it is a middle age group, senior citizen, they got recovered from plasma therapy. So there is a lot of people. There's a lot of like American people, Hispanic people, racial people got recovered from plasma therapy. But plasma therapy is not working very well with the Asian population. So that is the point of research, like why it is not working. We don't know about it, right?
Americans are not recovering. Americans, why is not working on Americans? Americans are not patients.
No, it's not working on many people. So like the idea is like when we do the research, we do the age group, we do like the pre-health condition, we go to do the blood types, then we do like a kind of like their overall general health kind of thing. So what is that? The research, the data is coming very random. We are not able to find any significant pattern, right? But the positive news is in plasma, we have find there's antibodies coming up. But it is exactly like a chemotherapy. So I would like to give you the example like a chemotherapy. In a chemotherapy, usually we have a 6 cycle. So sometime the cycle one work very well, the cells started shrinking, the tumor started shrinking. Second treatment also work, but from third treatment say, oh, it's not working, and fourth treatment is not effective, it's growing again. So what happened, like same thing going on here. The plasma therapy, now we have a good plasma. And this plasma is given to body A and body B. So body B is somehow showing very good response, whereas body is showing no response. So this is observation based, but the technical mechanism of it is still under investigation. So what people are doing, they're not doing alone the plasma therapy. With plasma therapy, they are putting like hydrochloroquine, they are putting zinc, and they are putting the HIV drug. So these are the combination trying to work in most of the people, and it is working in majority of the people so far.
So what is the rate of recovery from the people? Because you see, they say few million people has been recovered. So what is the actual percentage of recovery?
With this combination, hydrochloroquine, zinc, anti-HIV, and some of the other drugs plus plasma therapy is around 65 to 70% recovery.
Which seems to be quite good. Why they don't use it more often?
They are using it. They're using, like the more serious patient, those who are going to the, see, there are 2-3 things happening. Many people no need to go to the ICU unit. So when the people are not going to the ICU unit, they know they will recover. But the people, those who are going to ICU unit, everyone is treated with plasma therapy, with this combination.
There's a limitation of the doses of a plasma therapy, is it?
Yeah, once like the antibody system is not working, the plasma therapy is right now, because very little sources is available for the plasma. There's not enough plasma donor and all those kind of things. So they are keeping it to the last line of defense. Last line of defense in the sense like when the ICU other medication is not working, then finally they are giving you the plasma. This is the case. And in fact, I want to give you a very good example. Yesterday, one of the very senior RSS leader passed away in Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, because they were involved in a lot of like community service, and he got that, and he got delayed in his COVID. So at the final stage, they were taking them to Bhopal for the plasma therapy, but by the time they take them for the plasma therapy, he passed away. So it is already very much established, like because of the limited of this, plasma therapy is the last choice. But yes, now, if there is a community and community say like, okay, we get together and we need this treatment, it's just like a blood donation, right? So in a community level right now, we need to talk with the Red Cross, or we need to talk with someone, and we should be allowed to have enough plasma donor, so we keep those plasma in a stock. So when some people are getting like sick, we can give them the plasma therapy. Now the question here comes in, say plasma therapy is working, but what we don't know, how much plasma Hong Kong government has or medical department has with them, and how many people can get that therapy. That is the big question.
But I don't see any promotion from the government encouraging the people to give the donation of a plasma blood. I don't see any government.
See, Hong Kong, Hong Kong government, why it is not doing it? Because the plasma therapy was first promoted and invented by the US government, okay, or Western world, you can say. It's a very technical data. If you want, I can send you the whole WhatsApp, whole PDF file. It is a treatment protocol of the Wuhan. So what Hong Kong is doing, Hong Kong is using the treatment protocol from the Wuhan. So all the doctors in Hong Kong are circulated that copy, which become very successful in Wuhan. Okay, so it's a combination of few drugs together. And that is why the justification of the Hong Kong people is so far they able to keep the death rates very low. So they believe that that therapy is working in Hong Kong.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good. So you should become active, Manohar. You know, like in the community level, I believe, like you see the third wave, 140 people today, like last 5 days. So that's what it is. Say January to June, if we put 6 months, we reach only 1,000 people on an average, can say, in 6 months. But in last 5 days, we cross over 700 people. So if we wait one more week like that, okay, see, I want to give my opinion. I was against this quarantine procedure. I was against this, like, okay, Indian who got stuck in India, American got stuck, like, they stay where they are. There's no need to come here, because this is the very high risk, unless it's like very, very important. So I believe like during this quarantine thing, something went wrong. And that's the result right now, like means, the second thing, like you are close to government, you should uh, 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 say them that we need RT-PCR test. If there is no RT-PCR test, we cannot guarantee. So in the quarantine, the swapping test is giving a lot of false negative. That's the problem.
But you being a microbiologist, are you not in touch with the Sophia?
No, we have this whole microbiology community, our Hong Kong University, like a lot of people, we are saying, that's what I'm saying. The government policy and the science are two different things. Science, they take all the opinion, but they implement as per their, like, whatever, like the government protocol is there. So it's like economics, I believe so, the government economics. But scientifically, I can say this: if you do the nasal swab, it's not guaranteed that you will get the accurate result. Everyone knows about it now. Okay, you can get a false positive or false negative. But if we do RT-PCR test, then it's 100% guarantee. It's like accurate test.
But now the Hong Kong government is taking help of Chinese government and two laboratories from Chinese government helping Hong Kong government. So they are not.
Yeah, we are waiting. We are waiting those two labs to run in the high volume test, right? If they can run only few tests, then how we can do, But what we see from the media right now, the taxi drivers or minibus drivers, they are taking the nasal swab. So it's like antigen test, right? So maybe like I will watch, like our microbiology community, like we gather again, we are watching that. And maybe if the situation go wrong in next 4 or 5 days, we will come very vocal to the government about giving like certain strange measure. We will explain them what is the loopholes. They already identify certain loopholes in the quarantine process already. They have noticed like some loopholes in the quarantine process. And let's see what happened. Like keep we all finger crossed. And I always promote you as a leader, like at least like take the Indian community of Hong Kong Island side to motivate them. At least please don't do home gathering right now. Suspend a home gathering for some time at least, because we don't know what is there,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thanks, Veena.
Thank you so much. So it's 8 p.m. We will close now. And like this, we are going to have many more webinars continuously to educate and empower people on various different levels to boost your immunity. I just want to mention that all the herbs that Dr. Sanjay has mentioned, it is all available at Naveda. All right? So you don't have to keep looking around for that, just to make everything convenient. So tomorrow we're going to have something called Tech Yoga. We are going to be sending the information regards to that. Since now we are all on our computers and phone to do all our work, we want to make sure that we're taking care of our joint and our movements, because that is also part of boosting our immunity. So thank you so much. And please spread the word around with your friends and family. Please share and let more people know about this. And please keep joining us so that we can educate and empower you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.